joining me. All right. So before we get into it, I'm going to share a little story with you, which is that on Monday nights, I go to a yoga class, and it's a really incredible yoga class. I got to say, I don't know what it is at the moment, but this particular teacher is, I'm just so entangled and in sync with her. She just comes out with these really thought-provoking quotes before the start of the class. But this week was incredibly powerful because she opened up the class with a quote, and the quote is not as important as what the quote meant or where the quote came from. When she shared this quote, it immediately took me back to when I was 16. And the reason is because the quote that she shared, I had not heard since I was 16. And the individual that I heard this quote from was a friend of mine at the time who actually ended up committing suicide. And so she shared this quote, and it started to bring tears because it reminded me of what I was doing at 16 and where I was in my life. And I was able to reflect on how that has actually served me in my business. So the reason that my friend, when I was 16, committed suicide was because he was a drug addict. And so was I. At the age of 16, I had an intravenous drug addiction. I was putting needles in my arm. And I was one of the lucky ones because I'm here today, but he's not. But it was a really beautiful moment to be able to reflect on where I've come from. Because most people who have an intravenous drug addiction at some point typically end up being a statistic, and they certainly don't end up where I've been able to get to at this point. And the reason that I share that with you is because it is so easy for us to keep thinking about what we haven't done and where we're still trying to get to. And very, very rarely do we celebrate the tiny steps that we take that lead to our bigger picture. You are consistently comparing yourself to others. You open up social media and you are bombarded with gurus and people giving you their highlight reels. And it's very, very easy to tell yourself that you're not good enough because you don't have that highlight reel or you're not where you want to be. The reason that I was able to come out of that space and not end up like my friend is because I learned very, very quickly an important strategy, which is relevant to what I do in my business today. And that strategy is that I continue to celebrate the tiny things that I do every single day while fighting for my next level. If you just focus on celebrating the wins, you actually become stagnant and you don't grow. And if you're not growing, you're dying. But if you don't celebrate your wins consistently, no matter how small they are, and if you don't honor and acknowledge yourself for what you have done today, then you breed more of the darkness. You breed more of your inability rather than your ability. And so that creates your reality. And that's what created my friend's reality, who decided to take his life. So you have a choice to either celebrate what you've done every single day, because when you do, you see what you're capable of, which breeds more of that. Or you refuse to honor and acknowledge yourself for what you have done. And then what you do is you fight for your limitations. Because those limitations are going to want to consume you. And it's your job to choose where you play in the game. So I think this leads really, really beautifully into one of the questions that came in this week, which was, what do you do when you're submerged and you have too many things happening at the same time in your life that need full attention, and you feel that you can't connect with your audience the way that you want to because your energy is actually elsewhere and you're not focusing on serving? So what do you do? So it's a really great question, because it is so easy for us to feel submerged and overwhelmed with all of the responsibilities that we have to do in our life. Your kids are pulling at you, your partner's pulling at you, your business is pulling at you, your health and fitness is pulling at you, your finances need your attention, your mental well-being and expanding your knowledge needs to be constantly nurtured, your friends want to see you, and it can feel like you're drowning. Time equates to energy, and energy equates to money. If you don't honor and acknowledge and design your time in the way that you want it to look, everybody else is going to consume your life. You will be consumed by the outside world and all of their expectations unless you get a control and a handle on your time. And if serving clients and building your mission and your business is important to you, then you have to fight for your time. Meaning that you have to design your calendar in a way that's inspiring to you. Because there are always going to be external pressures, no matter what. You might feel right now that you've got extra stuff going on, but I promise you that there is always going to be extra stuff going on. In fact, if you can't grow your business in your real life, if you're waiting for the right time, that there is never a right time. It's our job to own our time now, because your time equates to energy, and your energy is what builds money. Energy is the currency. Money comes to the energy. Right now, you're in an environment that has stumped your growth. Your current environment is where your limitations have been created and are currently flourishing. You can't flourish if you continue to be submerged in the current environment that you're in. So you want to get clear on what are you feeding yourself with. Because you are a seed that gets to blossom into a flower, but you've got to be planted in the right soil. And you can't always escape the external environment that you're in, whether that's friends, family, but you can be proactive in creating a separate environment that's relative to your business growth and submerging yourself in that environment. And that is part of why Business Builder is so important. It's not just a client attraction class. It's not just a place where we show up and have some conversation. The individuals in that class 6 times a week that you can come and log into are your people. They're your soil that help you to flourish into the flower that you are. Because when the rest of the world around you is trying to submerge you underwater, you have to fight to put yourself in an environment that helps you to flourish. So Business Builder is that opportunity for you, because you're around people an hour a day that help you to grow. It's your mastermind that flourishes you, because it's the people that are on your journey. Your family doesn't understand you. Your friends think that you are crazy for doing what you're trying to do, for staying focused to your vision. They love you, but they are going to try to bring you down. I don't know if you don't know that story about the crab in the bucket, right? But if you put a whole bunch of crabs in a bucket, the crabs will try to escape. But as the crab, they all stack on top of each other. As soon as one of the crabs gets to the top, the crabs pull the other crab down and they all fall into the bucket again, and the process starts. You are the crab in the bucket with your friends and your family. They don't understand your vision. You have to immerse yourself with people that do, that are on your journey. This is how you grow regardless of the outside world. So please come and join us at Business Builder, because it is your 1 hour a day where you are in your soil with your people, flourishing and blooming to be the flower that you are meant to be with your vision. In addition to learning how to grow your business. And you have to get clear on your time. Everything in my calendar that I do in my week is scheduled, not just my business, everything. Today is Friday. It's hair washing day. That is in my calendar. My yoga classes in my calendar. My date with my son every week in my calendar. When I'm going to see clients for one-on-one sessions in my calendar. Everything that you do has to be structured, because if you don't design your time, the external world is going to try and submerge you. The crabs in the bucket are going to pull you down. And you want to have total life fulfillment, which means doing what you said you wanted to do in all areas of your life, not just one or two. Mindset is a huge component, and your mindset is often a reflection of who's around you.